Hello, and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the beautiful people out in their communities doing wonderful things. My sidekick and co-host is back with us, Ryan Wall. How you doing, Rosmondo?
Doing pretty good, thanks.
Glad to have you. And this time of year already, it's hard to believe, but we're here to talk about the OVPL. It seems like it's kind of in the distant future, but there's actually a lot of preparation going on already for that. But before we get into that, obviously your affiliation as a general manager with the Highlanders in Wheeling. Can you fill everybody in on some of the updates, things that have gone on over the winter with the OVPL as a league in general?
Yeah, sure. Just some conversations with the league, and there's been many. We hear there's going to be some new teams this season, some expansion teams, I guess, is way you could frame it, both on the men and the women's side. So that's going to be exciting to see that come about. And also, I think the league's getting a little bit more organized in terms of its communications, its social media presence, and things. So we're just looking for another good season. As you know, in summer soccer in the U.S., it's a lot of it is collegiate players or former collegiate players, and providing them a good experience if we can during the summer to keep them fit, keep them sharp, and also grow local clubs in the process.
And play at a pretty good level in the off season for them as well, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's key, and obviously people know about the USL 2 league and maybe the NPSL league, which have a national footprint, but there's a lot of regional leagues as well. The Midwest Premier League, I believe. There's the East Coast leagues. I know some of those in New York, and then also here we have the OVPL, which is in that kind of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, kind of region, and they're serving a good purpose, to keep people playing, to keep college players playing at a decent level through the 2-3 months of the summer, and also providing something for each town that they're based in. And obviously, we're based here in Wheeling, West Virginia.
Well, so along those lines, I just want to kind of put a frame of reference around this week in our podcast, Ryan, that it is actually February, but the OVPL's main season is, like you said, throughout the summer. But you want to get into your tryouts and kind of the process as a general manager and all the different things you have to do to put a team together for the summer. It's February, but you've already kind of started the tryout process, correct? So you want to fill us in a little bit on that, and then also how's it been going?
Yeah, I mean, so we have a tryout coming up this Saturday. So that's February the 10th in Wheeling, West Virginia. And obviously, the season doesn't begin till May. It goes all the way through the end of July. But what we like to do is get a good chance to see some of the guys, a lot of the guys that will be filling up our roster, and give them an opportunity to show themselves to us. And this is kind of a good window in terms of before the NCAA Division 1, 2, 3 spring seasons start. So we like to do it now, just to get an early look at people. And I know some teams have already done theirs actually before Christmas. So it's a good opportunity for us, and it's also a good chance for us to talk to the players that we're looking at in person, meet them, see what they're all about. That's why we time it like that. And then obviously, we may add a few players between, not many, but a few between now and the season begins in May. And do all the rest of the stuff, which is, working on facilities in terms of, securing facilities, working on the business side of it, for sponsorships and so forth. And just trying to get organized as we work towards the May kickoff date.
Oh, well, you alluded to it a little bit there, but I was going to ask if you could put a percentage on it. And again, in a perfect world, what would be the percentage you'd say of your roster you'd like to have solidified here pretty soon, even this early in February?
About 3/4 of the roster, I'd say.
Okay.
So getting into the nitty gritty for our organization, we like to keep about 25 to 28 guys.
Okay.
We don't want to go into the 30s. I'm not really in the business of just rostering guys for rostering's sake, like a lot of college programs these days. So I'd rather make sure that these guys are coming and they have a chance of getting definitely training time at high level, right in amongst some of the top players in our roster, but also pushing for places in the team. And we do a little bit of rotation too. We try to get guys that maybe some of the younger guys get them exposure, and what that means is getting them minutes if we can. So we do all that. You got to take a step back, I think, when you coach summer soccer, because it is just summer soccer in one regard. I know we want to win games, but we also want to give guys opportunities. Now they have to earn the opportunities, but if they're, I love to say, and you've heard me say it a number of times, if they're good enough, they're old enough. So if a guy's 16, 17 and they can really play, then they will get some time. And also, actually, on the reverse too, some of the older guys, we like to keep them on board because they add some continuity and some maturity as well.
And they're old enough, and they're still good enough.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So also, what year is this of the Highlanders?
So we're going into our fourth summer season. This is it's actually, we're currently we've had as well as our summer team, which is a men's team. We've also added a U19, U18 boys team, and they're in our second year right now. We're in our third year of existence for that team.
Okay, so fourth year overall for the
Yeah.
Highlanders. So now that you're beyond the stage, kind of as a general manager and also as a coach in the OVPL of just getting your feet wet. You've got a little bit of experience. What would you like to see out of the Highlanders this year? Not only just within the community, but as a team, what kind of challenges do you maybe think might lie ahead for the team?
I've changed that perspective a little bit. In the 3 years, we had two real barnstorming years. Our first 2 years. Last year, our results weren't quite the same, so we ended up a mid-table team, which is fine. And so I think, the goal for us is just to be competitive. Aim at just being a competitive team. That, like last year, for example, we finished mid-table, but every game we were in, we just didn't. I guess some didn't take our chances and gave up a couple of chances. So I think for us, have a competitive program on game day. But in addition to that, have something that the players go to and they really see a value in what's going on in training, the qualities they're training with, and they feel that, hey, this has been worth my time investing in this and putting some time into the program. For us, if we get guys coming out, I've got guys that played for me 4 years ago that I'm still in touch with. They love the experience. So that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, very cool. And also, along those same lines, I know you've had some successful players in the past. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about some of those guys that have moved on and some of the success that they've had from the Highlanders?
Yeah, I think for the men's team, we did have a player that in our first season has gone on to become a professional in Europe. So he's from Pittsburgh, Mohammadi. Great kind of example. He was actually with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, I believe. Spent a season there and then came to us. And on the back of a season with the Highlanders, we had a very, very successful first season. He went on kind of an expedition to Europe to find teams. Literally went up there and he's been playing all over playing in a number of different leagues in Eastern Europe, but he's currently professional. So we're very proud of that. We have had a pro come through in just 4 years. And we've also on a U19 side, and we're in our third season now for our U19s. We've also produced, I don't like saying the word produce, we've helped 8 players go on and play collegiate soccer.
Yeah.
That's 8 of our guys that have played for Highlanders are going on and they're playing at the college level. And for me, that's just a really exciting thing. I'm really proud of those guys. Not all of them are worthy with us for the whole duration. Some of us played for us for a season, but some of us played, 2-3 seasons. And so those guys have a really good reflection on what we're trying to do. And I think crucially, they've been able to do that by staying here in the Wheeling area, not going to a big city, and also saving quite a lot of money on their youth soccer investment, so to speak.
And well, before we get into that, or you can get into that in more detail here in a minute, but I know you have a youth team as well that feeds into, as you said before, the second or third year for the youth team, basically a U18 team that feeds into the Highlanders men's team. So now that we've kind of covered the men's team, tell everybody a little bit about that. Is that a typical, what you would say, a club season in the spring for the U18 team? And then how do you handle both of those things in terms of some of those players maybe getting an opportunity to go up and play with the men's team? How does that work?
Well, yeah, just like I mentioned there, so we've had guys come through that U18, U19 team, and they've gone on to play collegiately. But as you mentioned as well, they have also come on and played for our men's Highlanders teams. So what we do beginning of November, we put our U18, U19 squad together, and we'll go all the way through November, a bit of December, and then we'll go all the way through January to middle of May. Essentially, we'll go to college showcases. We play in Pittsburgh at an indoor league, 11v11, and we arrange a lot of friendlies. I'm of the belief that you don't need to go more than 2.5 hours at all to play good soccer. Anybody that really does that and is going way further, I mean, save your money, really save your money, because it's just not needed. I mean, these guys that have been with our U18, U19 team have played within 2 hours. We go to Columbus sometimes. We might go up to Canton. We'll play in Pittsburgh. We might go to Charleston, West Virginia. And we've contacted college coaches, had them come to our games, and they've recruited these kids. So it's just, I really, I have to laugh at times when I see kids going to Florida or Michigan and so forth. Have at it if they want to. But the way we run this, we keep it local. And, there's no travel fees. We have a situation where we provide the uniform, so they don't have to pay for that either. And really, honestly, all those kids pay is around $400 or $500 for the whole season, from November all the way through the end of May.
Well, that's fantastic. So I love that aspect of it and everything you're doing. How would you say that a lot of those guys are going to continue? I mean, I'm sure that's the goal, to feed into the men's team and kind of build some continuity, in the future and over the years.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we're looking at. I think for the men's team, the function of U.S. men's soccer, we'll focus on the men's side because that's what we're talking about here, and that's what I know generally. It's money oriented. If you have money and you have a backer, then the team can grow, progress, and so forth. But I don't think that's something you should wait around for. I think you should try and build something good locally. And if we have some of our U18, U19 guys matriculate into our men's team, that's great. I actually know that some of our U18 guys from this current team are trying out for our men's team this Saturday. So I'm excited about that. I mean, I know they're going to be in the mix. And as I said, I know some of them are actually going on to play collegiately in the fall. So this is going to be a great kind of stepping stone for them, playing at that collegiate, level in the summer for us, or at least training at that level to be able to really hit the ground running in the fall.
Yeah, that's great, and provides an opportunity for them to train at a high level, like you said, prepare them for college. One last question for me. What would you like to do this summer with the Highlanders that you haven't? You've had some success on the field, but is there anything you'd like to accomplish? I mean, you have a whole gamut of things you're responsible for, not only just as a general manager and the coach, and like we've talked about in the past, their scheduling and transportation, and you even have to look up. You have to kind of sort out living arrangements, right, for some of the guys over the summer. So what are some of those things you'd like to improve on, or that you're hoping to accomplish this season with the men's team?
I think last year, in terms of a lot of those items, were actually quite good. We took care of a lot of them. We had some good housing, great local partner help with that.
Coaching. I didn't mention coaching.
Oh, coaching?
Improve the coaching.
Oh, that's one thing. We actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. The coaching's always got to improve. But in that regard, we're actually bringing on a new coach. So we're going to have a third coach for Highlanders. We had two of us last year really ran the program, myself and Greg Martin, who's a former outstanding college Division II goalkeeper at Wheeling University. So he and I basically run the men's team, and we're also bringing on another person. So I'm not going to announce yet, but he's a collegiate coach as well. So we'll have another college coach who knows that level, both as a player and a coach, going to be joining us for the season. So with the coaching side of it, yeah, I really probably should improve on what we performed last year. So we're making some moves, but he's a great guy, and it's going to be the guys playing for us this year are going to be fortunate with having him around as an additional coach. And it's all about who you're around as a player as well. It's not just about what you can do. If you're around good people, you tend to produce good things on the field.
Absolutely. So again, Ryan here tonight talking to us about the Highlanders from the OVPL. It's February, but right around the corner. They'll be here before we all know it. And a lot of teams out there, as you said at the start of our podcast today, already preparing for their summer season in the OVPL. If you're not sure what the OVPL is, you're not familiar with it, I urge you to check it out, look them up online. A lot of great teams on both the men's and women's side in the OVPL, and it continues to grow and provide a good level of soccer for a lot of people over the summer. And I also encourage you, I know, Ryan, you're the same, to go out and support these teams in your local communities. Whether you have an MLS team or any other team in your area over the summer, great opportunity to see a good level of soccer. Take your family out, support them. And I know with the Highlanders, you can follow them on social media, Ryan. You're very active on there with everything and updates. And again, check out the Highlanders on social media again, as their tryouts will start this weekend already, correct?
Yep, this Saturday, we're going to have our tryouts, yeah.
So best of luck to you, Ryan. Keep up the great work with the Highlanders and all the guys out there in Wheeling. We appreciate it. And until next time, straight from the training ground. Visit our partners at Uno Zero, where they make classic leather football boots. Check out our friends at Duktig Brand FC for all of your coaching needs, notebooks, and more. Visit our friends at TractionSocks.com for your grip socks.